Okay. Now here we are in the concluding part of part of the chapter. Now here we'll be dealing with the kingdom plante. Okay. So this is a Latin word that is basically used here. So this kingdom plante is basically uh, separate section. Okay, it's a new kingdom, and the specification of this is they are basically eukaryotic, they contain chlorophyll, they are generally autotrophic. But there is a certain variation. Some are heterotrophic, that means they are either parasitic, that is Amanthus, mistletoe. Okay, they are parasitic, that means they grow on a different plant. Okay, and they are insectivorous. Now certain plants, they have got a deficit in nitrogen, so they are insectivorous. They devour the insects and get the nitrogen content or protein from the animal. So basically the example is Venus flytrap or pitcher plant, Nepenthes, Sarracenia, sundew. They are many, so they are categorized as an insectivorous plant, but they are green in color and they possess chlorophyll. But these heterotrophic plants, though they derive nourishment from the other plant, but they do possess chlorophyll, so they are under this category. Okay, now basically if you see, the kingdom plantae has 5 broad categories: the algae, the bryophytes, the pteridophytes, the gymnosperm, and the angiosperm. Now this angiosperm basically is all the flowering plant, the fruiting plant which you see around yourself. It's a very common one, and the detailed structure of this we'll be dealing in the next chapter, so I'll skip this part and I won't go into the detailed classification of this, because since we have to deal it in the next chapter. Okay, now next broad category is the kingdom Animalia, and in this kingdom Animalia we have, they are again all eukaryotic, but in compared to kingdom Plantae, since they were all autotroph, here the phylum character, the kingdom character is they are all heterotroph. You won't find an autotrophic animal in this. Okay, autotrophic organisms are not found in the kingdom Animalia. Okay, now majority of them are multicellular, because the unicellular one has been stocked in the protozoan kingdom. They lack the cell wall. See, animal cell do not possess a cell wall and chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is not a kingdom characteristics of the kingdom Animalia. Now basically their mode of nutrition is holozoic. Then specified mode of organ formation. See, plants do not have this kind of a specific organ formation, that is organogenesis. For example, the blood pumping is responsible for the heart is responsible for the blood pumping, the neurotransmitters, the sensory organs. So this is a much evolved characters that is completely lacking. They have structures, they have tissues, but this organogenesis is not there in the kingdom Plantae. Okay, now why organogenesis? Because this shows the highest class of division of labor. Okay, again this will be dealing with chapter 4. Okay, chapter 3 is Plantae. Okay, now then the locomotion is another a specific character, and that separates from the kingdom Plantae. Okay, because locomotion, that means a power to move from one place to another in search of food and water, because they are heterotrophs. Okay, and secondly and the lastly, it is the sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism means it is a distinctly, you can separate the male from the female, but again there are exceptionals. Certain animals like earthworm, they are hermaphrodite, where both the organ is, for example, the male organ and the female organ exist in a single organism. Okay, now again, since we'll be dealing with the kingdom Animalia, it would be that later. Now here are certain terms, that means viruses. Viruses is also another category, and basically they are known as non-cellular organism. What is non-cellular organism? They have the only genetic material, the DNA and RNA, and it is a protein structure. They do not, outside the cell, they cannot exist. Okay, and that is why it is known as obligatory parasites. Obligatory, that means only in the presence of the host cell they are existing. Okay, and inside the virus, and one category is there that is known as the bacteriophages. That means it is a bacteria attacking virus. Only specified, these viruses will be attacking only the bacteria. And what is viroids? Viroids are smaller in size comparison to the virus. Now they have only the DNA or RNA material. Okay, now without the protein structure. This is a DNA and RNA wrapped within a protein, but they don't have the protein structure in it. Okay, now here, if you can see in your book, okay, here you see these are the examples of virus. See, this is the protein structure, this is an RNA coil, and here you see this is a structure that is known as a bacteriophages, that means bacteria attacking virus. What I said, you see, viruses are obligatory parasite. Okay, only DNA addition to protein, that's it. Okay, RNA, so many diseases they are there, and the layer of the protein, see, capsomeres are arranged. What are capsomere? The protein and the nucleic acid combination is known as a capsomere. Okay, that forms a cap-like structure. See, this is a structure. This structure you have to do. Okay, you see, with this the virus attaches to the bacteria cell. This is the DNA material and it's a collar. So this DNA material is injected into the cell where the virus DNA gets combined with the DNA of the host cell. That we will be dealing in the later on, and this portion forms the ghost like structure. That means useless and dead. It goes out of the body. That is it. Okay, clear? Now here you see this is viroids. Say they lack the protein. Then another one is a prion. What is prion? Prions are the most notable disease caused by prions. Actually, they have got a specific protein structure. Generally, they are all pathogenic in nature, infectious causing. Okay. The last part we have already dealt earlier. That is lichens. It is a symbiotic association of a fungi and an algae. Okay. So the algal part is known as phycobian and the fungi part is known as mycobian. You know, this myco word is related to fungi. The study of fungi is known as mycology. Okay, but this, you know, is a very good indicator, because see, it's a good pollution indicator. It grows only in areas where it is not polluted, pollution free area.